Good morning, students. Our chapter number 16, Water, a Precious Resource, is going on. In the first two periods, we learn about why we celebrate World Water Day, how much water is available for us to use, forms of water, how people are facing water shortage problem. Today, we will see the remaining part of this chapter. Now, see our next point. Groundwater is an important source of water. We are aware about the groundwater, which we get from the inside from the earth. Now, see the point. If we dig a hole in the ground near a water body, we may find that the soil is moist. We are aware about that when we are digging the hole near to the water body, that time the soil it becomes moist. The moisture in the soil indicates the presence of water underground, and the moisture which present in the soil that indicates the presence of water underground. If we dig deeper and deeper, we should reach a level where all the space between the particles of soil and gaps between the rocks are filled with water. And we are aware about that the water is present inside the earth, and when we go deeper and deeper inside the earth, that time we are aware about that inside the earth there are the rocks, big rocks and soil particles are there, and there are some space between the rocks and soil, and there the gaps are filled with the water. The upper limit of this layer of the water is called water table. The upper limit of this layer of the water is called as a water table. The water table varies from place to place. The water table is varies from place to place. Why? Because the rainfall percentage is different from one place to the another place. That's why water table also is different from one place to the another place, and it may even change at given place. Yes, and it may given change even change at a given place. The water table may be at a depth of less than meter, or maybe several meters below the ground. Now what happened? Suppose when we are digging the bore well near to the lake, then it may be the water table will be found at the less of the meter, at the less of the meter. But when we are digging the bore well at the dry place, that time it may be take several meters below the ground. We are aware about that. Suppose in Kolhapur region, in Panhala region, or somewhere river will be there, and there we are digging in nearby river. When we are digging the borewell, that time it may be found the water table may be in just 80 meter. Suppose when we are digging that bore well at a long distance from the river or water bodies, that time it takes maybe 400-500 meter to take to catch the water table. The water found below the water table is called groundwater, and the water which is found below the water table is called as a groundwater. Now one question is arises: what is the source of groundwater? And we are aware about that the most important one, the rainwater. The rainwater is a important source of groundwater. Now see, the rainwater and water from other sources such as rivers, ponds seeps through the soil and fills the empty spaces and cracks deep below the ground. Now we are using that groundwater for many purposes: drinking, for construction, for irrigation purpose. We are using this groundwater. Now when it is fill up again, then by the rainwater or the water from the other sources like rivers, ponds, that water seeps through the soil and fills that empty spaces and cracks deep below the ground, and this process of seeping water into the ground is called infiltration. The most important definition are there in this period: water table and infiltration. Water table, the upper layer of the groundwater is called as a water table, and the process of seeping water into the ground is called infiltration. The groundwater thus get recharged by the process, and by this process rainwater from the rivers, ponds, the water will be seeps into the soil, water seeps into the soil, and that recharge the groundwater. At places, the groundwater is stored between the layers of hard rock below the water table. Below the water table. At the places, the groundwater is stored between the layer of hard rock below the water table. This is known as aquifer. This is known as an aquifer. Water in the aquifers can be usually pumped out with the help of tube wells or hand pumps, and that we are aware about that bore wells and hand pumps we are using to pump out the water. Have you ever been to a site where the construction work is going on, maybe in your village or town, or you are nearby, maybe any construction work is going on? Have you visit any construction work? Now, from where do the workers get water for construction? For construction, maybe you have seen boring being done at such a site to reach the water table. And now many more construction sites are there. They are digging the bore wells. They are digging the bore wells for the construction purpose. For the construction purpose, and they are using that water, groundwater, for the construction. Inquire from the people working there how deep they have to dig. How deep they have to dig. Maybe it is different from place by place. Maybe in some places it will be found at the 80 meter or 100 meter. In some places it will be found more than 350 500 meter. Now next, can we keep drawing water from under the ground? Yes, we can, but we have to draw the water from the ground, under the ground, like in a judiciously, for a proper purpose. We have to use this. How will it affect the water table? And when we are using water, groundwater, again and again, what will be effect on the water table? It will be reduces. Now the next point is depletion of water table. Depletion means reducing the amount of water table, reducing the water table. Depletion, reduced. Now when we draw the water from the groundwater, that time the groundwater will be reduced. Now we are aware about that. Suppose when you are taking your water bottle, and when you are drinking water from that water bottle, the amount of water will be reduced. In the same way that when we are using the underground water, that time also that amount of groundwater will be reduced. In the same way, water drawn from under the ground gets replenished by seepage of rainwater. We already learned that when we are using the groundwater, and that groundwater will be replenished by the seepage of rainwater, the water table does not get affected as long as we draw as much water is replenished by natural processes. Suppose we are using underground water. By bore wells, and by the bore wells, for the irrigation purpose, for the construction purpose we are using. But it is important that it will be replenished. By the natural processes. That water which will be replenished by the natural processes. However, water table may go down if the water is not sufficiently replenished. And what happen? Suppose sometime what happen in years that there may be no rainfall. Drought condition will occur. That time what happen? The water table may go down if water is not sufficiently replenished. This may happen due to many reasons, and this may be happen due to many reasons, because the reasons are given here. Increase in population, the most important point. Increase in population, we are aware about the population of India. Then industrial and agriculture activities are some common factors affecting the water table. Now we are aware about the population of India, huge population of India. That's why this is a major fact on the depletion of water table. Next one, industries. When population now will be increases, then industries also increases, and it will be also affect on the agriculture activities. Scanty rainfall is another factor that may deplete the water table. And the less rainfall is another factor. The drought condition, the less rainfall, that another factor that may deplete the water table. Yet another factor affecting water table could be deforestation and decrease in the effective area of seepage water. Now that is also most important. Another factor on affecting water table could be deforestation and decrease in effective area of seepage water. Now when deforestation will be done on the large scale, it will be affect on the water cycle, and it indirectly affect on the groundwater. Then effective area decrease in the effective area of seepage of the water. When population will be increases, it increases industrialization, it increases building houses, roads, constructions, and that's why the effective area of seepage of water will be reduced. Now we will see the first point, increasing population. How increasing population will be effect on the depletion of water table. Now see the point. Increasing population creates demand for construction of houses, shops, offices, road and pavements like footpath areas. Increasing population, when population will be increases, that also creates the demand for the construction of houses, shops, offices, roads and pavements, and these decrease the open areas like parks and playgrounds, and this in turn decrease in seepage of rainwater into the ground. And what could be the consequence? Now what happens when population will be increases, that creates the demand of construction of houses, shop, offices, roads and pavements. It is creates a demand, but what is the impact of this on the water table? This decreases the open areas like parks and open areas like playgrounds. And where that time what happen, it decreases the seepage of rainwater into the ground. And because of that water table will not be replenished. Recall that puka flower do not allow water to seep in easily. We are aware about that puka flower. While in a grass lawn, water seeps through in no time. That we are aware about that in a grass lawn, when we are giving water, it seeps easily. Next, moreover, the huge amount of water is required for construction work. The huge amount, moreover, the huge amount of water is required for the construction work. Often, groundwater is used for this purpose. Now, at the starting of the chapter, we already learned that concept. For the construction work, the people, they are digging the borewells and they are using water for the construction work, and they are using huge amount of water for the construction work. You are aware about that. So on the one hand, we are consuming more groundwater, and on the other, we are allowing lesser water to seep into the ground. इथे काय होतं की एका ठिकाणी एका बाजूला आपण काय करतोय की ग्राउंड वॉटर जे आहे आपण भरपूर प्रमाणात वापरतोय, पण एका ठिकाणी एका साईडला काय करतोय आपण, त्याला जे ग्राउंड वॉटर जे रिप्लेनिश करतं ते पाणी, त्यामध्ये रेन वॉटर त्यामध्ये ग्राउंडमध्ये जाऊही देत नाहीये. त्यामुळे काय होतं, त्याचा इफेक्ट वॉटर टेबलवरती होत असतो. So on the one hand, we are consuming more groundwater, we are using groundwater at the large scale. But on the other hand, by the flooring, by the construction of the houses like offices, because of that we are allowing lesser water seep into the ground, and this result in the depletion of water table. In fact, the water table in some parts of the many cities has gone down to alarmingly low levels. And in many cities, now what happened, in many cities a number of large number of industrialization, there may be offices, houses will be built up. That's why there the lesser water will be seep into the ground, and because of that water table will be reduced, depletion of water table will be increased. Now next point, increasing industries. Water is used by all the industries. Now we are aware about that when population will be increases, that will be demand increases the demand of the industries, and when industries will be increases, they are also using the water. Water is also used by all the industries. Almost everything that we use needs water somewhere in its production process. The number of industries is increasing continuously. Water used by most of the industries is drawn from the ground. And when the industries are increases, required they require water somewhere in its production process, and for that purpose they are using underground water. And the number of industries when increases, that time they are using underground water, that also increases, that use also increases. Now here one activity was mentioned, simple activity it is. Name some industries familiar to you and make a list of products obtained from these and used in our daily life. Discuss with your teacher and parent how the growing industrial activity is responsible for the depletion of water table. Now, in this activity, what you have to do? You have to name some industries which is familiar to you, and we have to list the products which is obtained from these industries and which we are using in our daily life. And you have to discuss with your parent or teacher for growing industrial activity is responsible for the depletion of water table. Now next one, agriculture activities. The last one, agriculture activities. A majority of farmers in India depend upon rains for irrigating their crops. That we are aware about that. जी मेजॉरिटी आहे, जी शेतकऱ्यांची जी मेजॉरिटी आहे जी इंडियामध्ये आहे, ती कशावरती डिपेंड आहे? पूर्णपणे त्यांच्या शेतीसाठी ती रेनफॉलवरती डिपेंड आहे. Irrigation system such as canals are there only in few places. The irrigation systems like canals are available but in a few places. Even these systems may suffer from lack of water due to erratic rainfall, and these canals may suffer from lack of water due to less rainfall. Therefore farmers have to use groundwater for irrigation, and for that purpose farmers they are using groundwater for irrigation. Population pressure on the agriculture forces increasing the use of groundwater. And when the population will be increases, that it will be forced to increase the agriculture activity, then use of groundwater will be increases. This results in a depletion of water table, and this results into the depletion of water table. Now here a simple point: a majority of farmers which are depend upon the rainfall, but due to less rainfall they are using underground water. And when due to population pressure, agriculture forces are increasing use of groundwater day by day, and that results to the depletion of water table. Today up to this we covered. Remaining point we will see in the next period.